What up? This is Robert Horry.
Horry, three-pointer. Buries it.
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Horry for three. Oh, unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Horry from downtown.
Oh, I know what's going on, Big Shot Bob. We're going to call it episode 254 of the Big Shot Bob podcast. B-Dog Brandon Harper, I'm Rob Jenners. Back from the depths of who knows where is seven-time NBA champion Robert Horry. I will allow you, sir, to explain to all the people who completely destroyed my social media last week, asking me why there was no show. I will allow you to go ahead and take the floor and explain what exactly happened.
I would like to apologize to all the Big Shot Bob pod fans because when the NBA calls you, you respond. Unfortunately, LaMarcus Aldridge had a health issue and he could not go to Japan. And so they asked me if I could go because I'm on the West Coast. And I said, of course, I can go to Japan. Hadn't been to Japan since my first NBA game, 1992. So I went to Japan and did some stuff for the NBA and came back. And when I got back, it was Wednesday, and then I had to go do a charity event for the military base in Phoenix on Thursday, and it kind of just threw us off. So I apologize. It was my fault.
That's okay. No one's
I scheduled
blaming.
everything wrong. I should have did it we should have did the podcast on a Monday when I was just sitting in the hotel at 3 a.m. like this, wide open, wide awake.
Yes, we could have done that.
Yeah. So I apologize. It was such a last minute scurry off to Japan. So
It's just fun. You're a weird friend to have. Because I'll never text one of my friends and be like, "What are you up to?" And they'll be right, "I'm in Japan." I don't get that text from any of my other friends. You know what I mean? My other friends are like, "We're having a beer, watching the game." And you're like, "I'm in Japan." I'm like, "What the hell are you doing in Japan?"
Yeah, it was weird because they called me on a Friday and I said, "Can you go tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I left on a Saturday. And so, yeah.
Even the NBA knows you don't have shit to do. NBA is like, can you go to Japan tomorrow? Yeah, I guess why not? Yeah. Damn.
That's what happens when you retire, baby. You just retire. You just sitting by the phone waiting for something to happen.
I'm not criticizing, man. Sign me up. I would love to be able to just go to Japan on no notice, dude. I would love it so much.
I'm just mad I didn't get to stay long enough to revisit Japan, and I wanted to go to
where were you exactly? Were you in Tokyo?
I was in Tokyo.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So my schedule was land, went to dinner, went to bed, went to the gym, went to dinner, went to bed, gym, dinner, got on the plane. So I didn't really have time.
That does not sound like fun.
Yeah. It was such a short trip. So those trips happen with the NBA where when they call you, you kind of answer because
I get it.
Get some miles and you get to see some places you haven't seen in a long time.
No, I mean, dude, Japan's doing me wrong. Tokyo's on the bucket list.
Yeah,
I would love to go.
Guy, what the most interesting was I got to meet the guy who created One Piece.
Oh, damn, that's cool.
Yeah,
One Piece. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he gave me, of course, they have a collab with the Lakers, so he gave me some Laker gear that's not out yet. He was like, "Don't tell nobody about it."
And now here you are on a podcast telling everybody.
Hey, I didn't tell him what it was though. He said I got some exclusive gear that nobody has right now.
Okay.
So I gave it. My kids are into anime, so I gave it to my boys. So it's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well, so anybody that can back off my social now. That's why there was no show last week. Everyone's like, somebody screwed up. No one screwed up. It was just Rob went to Japan on the drop of a hat, and we didn't know about it, so we found out all together. Well, we have God. There's so much stuff.
So much stuff.
Yeah. We have a few things from last week. I figure maybe we'll get into some of it. I don't want to get into too much of it because some of it's dated. I will say congratulations to both the UCLA women's Bruins team, who I did not see that coming, demolished South Carolina.
Oh,
I thought for sure. I mean, Dawn Staley for me, it's like you figured she's gonna figure this one out. There's no. They won. Was it 79-51? They beat them by like 28. And I mean, damn, what a showing for UCLA. And then last night, Michigan wins it all. First time since 1989. Hold off UConn. I think it was 68-63, I think was the final, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it written down.
Yeah, something like that. 68, yeah.
UConn hit that late three, and it looked like they might have had some life, and Michigan held them off. And I think isn't it Dusty May who's the head coach at Michigan? Former FAU head coach. So he made my alma mater proud through proxy. He got to the Final Four with my alma mater, went to Michigan, won a natty with Michigan. So
within 2 years.
Yeah, but Michigan, man, they were a force this year. So congrats.
Whole starting five through the transfer portal.
That's crazy, isn't it?
But and four of those guys are the first year there. You know, you got Illinois, UAB, of course, UCLA, it was a great team they put together. And if you look at that team, every guy could play defense. That's the one thing about them. They all play good defense, and you have that luxury of having Mara behind you, who should have been at UCLA. You know, so you just push him towards him, and then they just block it. If he doesn't block it, those other two centers who are playing small forward and power forward are blocking. So it was a great team.
Yeah, good team. So
I will say,
go ahead.
The fact that the Big Ten over the last so many years has been dominating pretty much in every sport.
Football and basketball.
It just shows you how not only the transfer portal works, but having money works. No conference has more money and has invested more money into their programs than the Big Ten. And I think you're consistently seeing these teams, we saw it in football with Indiana when you start recruiting older guys, getting guys in the transfer portal who are a little older and a little more seasoned and experienced. Same thing in a sense with, Michigan, but also being able to spend the money and being able to recruit guys and take advantage of NIL and the collective and everything to your fullest capability. We keep seeing this, and eventually at some point in time, more teams are going to catch on, and more teams are going to want to have to say, you know what, if we're going to compete, we need more money.
Yeah, I mean, well, now that the SEC can't pay guys under the table, now it kind of evens the playing field to an extent.
Everybody was paying somebody under the table.
I know, but we don't get that, that brown paper bag anymore they give to Robert Horry behind the scenes to make sure he shows up for. Oh wait,
Shaq?
what?
I didn't get no brown paper bag. I told you I got mad at my mom when I found out Alabama tried to pay for her car. She said no. I'm like, what you doing, woman? Let them pay for that car.
Let them pay for that car. So otherwise, I got to pay for the car, and that shit ain't happening. Not until I get to the NBA, mama. But yeah, you're right, though. The Big Ten's been, the last couple of years, last 3-4 years probably specifically, it's been a very even playing field for them, and that's what NIL does now. NIL goes, okay, who's going to spend the most money? Who's gonna hit their boosters? Who's going to raise the most in NIL capital? And the Big Ten's been doing it. Big Ten's been doing it and spending the money where they got to spend it. By the way, before we get off college hoops, because we do have a lot of Lakers stuff to talk about. Obviously, we have a lot of Lakers stuff to talk about. I do want to mention that the new North Carolina Tar Heels have a new head coach.
Mike Malone.
It is Mike Malone, the man himself.
I don't give a shit.
You should give a shit. It's your new job. So he's going to North Carolina to coach the Tar Heels. Thoughts on Malone as a Tar Heel, Rob?
I don't know yet. That's one of those ones where you like.
Does he have college experience? And I should know this, but I don't. I only know him as the Nuggets head coach.
Yeah, but I think if you really think about it, college is just little NBA right now because of the way you have to pay players and where they had to come in, you had to recruit. So let's see. It's going to be interesting.
But it's such a different style of coaching, I think.
Yeah. Well, if you really look at it, it's like not really because it's like a pro style. The most successful programs, I should say, the programs that get the good players, the first thing they say, "Oh, we run a pro style offense," and so now you do that. Guys come in because you said pro style offense. You get when you say pro to college guys or high school guys or I like what 25-year-old guys still trying to make the league. They think they can make it to the pros.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I like the different style of coaching in that, you're playing a different kind of basketball, but they're college kids. You know what I mean? You're a hardened, and I like Mike Malone, but Mike Malone was great at being the hardened NBA coach. He took no shit from anybody. He didn't want to hear it. He was a no nonsense kind of guy. Does that play with college kids? I don't know. I mean, just because they're catching a paycheck doesn't make them more mature, doesn't make them more responsive to that style of coaching. So I don't know. And then there are going to be a fair amount of kids in there you're going to have to recruit. It's NIL's one thing, but, you got to keep these guys. And you get the younger guys coming into your program, you want to keep them around. And if you're maybe too much of a hard ass, I could see some of those kids going, I could hit the portal and go play for somebody that, just lets me do what the hell I want to do.
You're not going to keep anybody. I guarantee you two of those guys, I guarantee you that the power forward from Michigan won't be there next year. He's because you think about when he was at Illinois last year, he went for more money. Someone's going to offer him like $5 million because that dude's a beast and he's going to be out of there. So watch. It's just a carousel, man. Whoever going to pay you more? Oh, I got $2 million here. What you offering? $3 million? Oh, I come play for you. Yeah. So that's why the NCAA has to do something about all this fucking jumping, man. Like you think about the kid number 8 for Michigan. He's played on 5 teams before he got 4 or 5
that what
teams
it is?
before he got to Michigan. Yeah.
Damn.
And it's like, come on, man. It's getting ridiculous, man. Make these kids own up and have a little adversity. I know it's all about getting that paycheck, and I'm happy for you to get paid, but it got to be some kind of regulations on how many schools and how many times you can play in college, and it's getting weird, man.
Well, I do see what you're saying, and I won't say I disagree, because I do think you want to see guys make a decision and stick to the decision, but I want the same thing with coaches. I want you to make a decision and stick to your decision, because coaches have to recruit, and you sit with parents and you sit with loved ones and you go recruit that child. That parent's child to say, I'm going to be at a certain place for a certain amount of time. You also need to honor that, because I think this whole argument and frustration about moving around and playing musical chairs when it comes to schools only came about when the players started doing it. But when the coaches looked at better opportunities and they decided to move on and they decided to move up, you may have heard a little rumbling, but nobody batted an eye to where you're hearing that stuff now. And so I'm all for level of restriction as long as it's restriction across the board. If you sign a contract, you have to honor it.
Yeah, see, I'm on that, but a lot of times people use that as a scapegoat, saying the coaches are doing it. Coaches have been doing it for years. Yeah, but the coaches are under contracts and they give money back when they move. And that's the one thing people forget about. It's money involved. So coaches have to give money back, and coaches don't have to, they had to get buyouts and stuff like that. So all that involved. So if you're going to jump school as a player, and let's say I'm at Alabama, and now Auburn is going to offer me more money. I need to pay Alabama. The school needs, if you want to take my guy, you need to give me some kind of refund or whatever it may be. And then if you're going to travel within conference, a player needs to sit out a year for you to keep jumping. That's what I want. I just want some type of structure. And coaches, same way. If you're going to leave a school and go within conference, let's take Lane Kiffin. You left Ole Miss, went to LSU. You cannot coach next year. You can be involved, but you cannot coach. You got to sit out of it. It got to be some type of punishment for you to keep jumping. That's all I want. I want some type of punishment. You just can't keep patting the guy on the back saying, yeah, you come on over here. You want to change schools? Let's sit your ass out of here and see if you want to change schools.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, the government stepped in on this now.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? For whatever the hell that's worth. You got the executive order from Trump that said you're limited to 5 years in college football and 1 transfer before you got to graduate or sit out. And he's basically directing the NCAA to put this rule in place. It would start August 1st. Now, I don't care about politics enough to care that it was a Trump thing. I don't hate the idea.
Yeah.
I think at its surface, I'm like, okay, I can at least get down with that. You get 1 transfer, you get 5 years of playing time. Mm-hmm. Okay. At least it's a rule. At least it's something that you could point to and go, hey, this is the standard. Like, because the NCAA, like you said, Rob, to your point, it's a free-for-all. Mm-hmm. There's no adults in the room. Everyone's just, whatever you want to do, knock yourself out. You want to transfer 5 times, go crazy.
Are we still getting paid? Oh, yeah, we don't care.
Okay, good. Then who cares, right? Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm like blown all of a sudden. I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Neither do I, Mike. Let's go.
I think the other thing about, here's the thing about having the freedom of transferring. Like we talked about that the other side of that coin. Okay, you can transfer, but it's about whether something works out or not. Because every guy that transfer, it doesn't work out where they go. That's the chance that you take. You know, you can say, oh, that grass might be greener on the other side over here, or the grass. There are some guys who have transferred to 3 or 4 different types of grass, and they ain't seen no greener pastures.
Sure.
You know, so that's the other side of that coin, where it's kind of like, well, it didn't work out for me here. It didn't work out for me here. It didn't work out for me here. Well, that's also a part of life. You take that jump, you also have to take that risk. You risk the opportunity of it not working out. You risk the opportunity of possibly not making the money you thought you were going to make. You risk the opportunity of not getting the playing time you thought you were going to get, because things throughout a season change. That happens. That's the other side of the coin. And that's the give and take you got to have as a player if you're willing to transfer that many times. If you think you want to gamble, cool. But you're gambling with your career, and you got to be able to deal with the things that come along with that on either side of the coin.
I would add to this. The only way you should get an exception is if your coach leaves or get fired. You should have the ability to leave then, because so many people, well, you go there for the university. No, hell, we don't. We go there because of the coach and because of that staff. And so if they
the student athlete.
Yeah. So you have the ability. That's the only thing that I will allow you to transfer one more time. You know, the coach leaves.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And again, this isn't a hard and fast rule. This is just the first version of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, again, no politics here, but the fact that it got as far as having to have the president step in and go, hey, here's what we're going to do, means the NCAA ain't doing a damn thing. It means they've let it go so far off the guardrails that it's gotten his attention now.
Yeah. But I always wonder, all the money that the NCAA makes from, you know, all these tournaments and all these championships, where does that money go?
Good question. Don't know. Some of it goes back to the schools that participate. I do know that.
I know that, yeah.
But not enough of it. And you're right. Where does the rest of it go? Probably to fund the basic operations of the NCAA, for whatever that's worth. And again, they're the governing body, I think, in ideology only. You know what I mean? Like there's not like the fact that Michigan got off with a hand slap for all the crap that they were involved in on the football side, and we've seen it time and time again. It's so arbitrary where they decide to drop the hammer on people that it's like I don't know, man. I have not had faith in the NCAA for as long as I've followed any kind of college sports. And you're right. I don't know where the hell all that money goes. I really don't. It's just into a black hole somewhere that they just, I don't know. I don't know if they spend it. I don't know if it goes to fund their operation. I have no damn clue. Goes in Mark Emmert's pocket. I don't have a clue. I don't have a damn clue. Before we get on to the Lakers, though, we did mention the president. I just want to briefly check in on how things are going in Iran.
They came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to do. Let's go. Come on. Get in. Let's go. Pwah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room.
Okay, thank you. Very good, Mr. President. So holy crap. I don't know if that's Iran or he rented a porn film. I don't know what he was watching there, but holy. Oh,
man, he didn't even know what he was talking about.
Oh, he doesn't know. Dude, the pride line, look, I got nothing against the president, but he don't know where the hell he's going half the time when he starts talking, dude. He's just all over the road. Wild. Anyway, had to play you that soundbite just because I was literally
crazy.
Like staring at my computer. I'm like, what is he talking
When
about?
I saw that soundbite, I was like, what am I watching?
What is he talking about?
I swore someone had edited that together.
Oh, I
like,
thought
that
so
can't
too.
Be.
Yeah, no,
I just can't. Yeah, but I was like, no, that's him.
How that really happened? All right, let's get to the guts of it.
Like Commander in Chief.
You best salute. Otherwise, guys coming left and right. We don't know it's coming where. All right, let's get to the guts of it. We were all set to tape last week. Obviously, we talked about the fact that didn't happen. I had written up a nice little thing on Luka's numbers. I mean, he was on an MVP trajectory. He had been just on a rip. I mean, to the fact that he was talking about it, AR was talking about it, how it was like, man, he really could be in this MVP conversation. And then I basically lit that show sheet on fire because he got the hamstring strain, left hamstring strain, grade 2, in the loss to the Thunder on Thursday. And then he was shipped off. Where did he go, to Germany or something?
He went to Germany to get a second opinion.
Yeah, to get a second opinion and treatment options. And in the midst of all of this, AR goes down with the oblique strain. And he's set down to miss the rest of the regular season. So now it's like, You went from having a couple guys playing out of their minds recently to 2 guys on the sidelines for the rest of the regular season. Now we don't have a lot left. I think everybody's got about three
games left.
Yeah, not much. So you got about a week, give or take, left in the NBA season. Where does this leave the Lakers now, Rob?
On the outside looking in?
Yeah, I mean, is that it? Is it now it's just the slide and
it.
Early quiet exit?
Man, they need to win that Dallas game the other night. Cooper Flag went off for 45 on him. So
and he was the first rookie to post a 50 spot too. I think a few games prior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's you look at what's left for them. They got OKC tonight.
Ugh.
And OKC put an old-fashioned ass
They
on them.
cleaned them. Yeah.
I don't know how many guys. You think OKC, do you think have they locked up the number 1 seed in the West?
I don't know if it's locked up yet because I think technically the Spurs are 2.5 back, I think.
But with Wemby out now, I don't know if.
I mean, it's as close to a lock as it's probably going to get.
Yeah.
So, and then you
Just
got
wonder.
Golden State that's fighting, and then they got Phoenix that's fighting. So you got, in Utah, just, that's the last game of the season. But yeah, they're probably going to slide. They're going to keep on sliding, man. So they just hope, they can get 2 of these wins. They might stay in that, above the Rockets because the Rockets.
I think they're in the 4 right now, yeah.
Yeah, so, because Denver moved into the 3rd.
Yeah, Denver
spot,
moved up. Because Denver's been on a rip.
Yeah. So the Lakers are what, 4?
Yeah, they're in the 4 right now,
4.
as it stands today.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I for the Lakers' sake, they're in 4. You said who's 3?
The Nuggets.
And who's 5?
Rockets.
I would have said, just for the sake of putting them out their misery, I wish the Nuggets were 5. Or the Nuggets were 4 and the Lakers were 5. You get their 4-5 matchup and just put them out their misery.
Hey, Luka and AR should be back by playoffs.
That's cool, but here's my thing. I need to know. You don't play with hamstring stuff because that stuff you just never know and it's tricky, and so you don't know the severity or how effective he's going to be, especially in that first round, and especially as much as Luka likes to do and has to do. I'm not knocking Braun, and I think LeBron still has some left in the tank. I just don't know if he has enough in the tank to be able to uplift this team and get them past. I don't know if they can beat the Rockets. I just don't know.
Well, we talked about this before we started. The Rockets are a weird team. Did we lose Rob?
I don't know what happened there. My whole computer went off.
All right. Fun and exciting. The Rockets are a weird team. We were talking about this before we started. The Rockets are, some nights they come out guns blazing. Some nights they kind of lollygag it. Some nights they take you to overtime. And then there's nights where it's like, do they want to not play tonight? Like, do they think they had an off night? They're a weird team. So but if you look at it, postseason, if you look at 3 through 6, just at a glance, if you're, let's see, Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves. Of that grouping, if you're the Lakers, you probably want to see the Rockets the most out of that group, right?
Yep.
Nuggets are playing probably arguably their best basketball of the year right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at seeing the Timberwolves. I'm gonna tell you why.
I could see that, but you'd have to
Anthony
get back
Edwards,
up to 3.
Yeah, but Anthony Edwards has not been healthy. He's been dealing with knee issues and illness.
Well, hold on. He gave a good reason for missing the game the other night.
What happened?
We had a boo-boo.
I was taking a but yeah, like I said, Mike held it down for me. Yeah.
Okay, he was taking a shit. So, yeah.
Boy had to doo-doo. And when it move, you got to let it move.
Rob, you ever miss opening tip because you're taking a dump?
Oh, because I always have a schedule. I go before, and then I shower, and then I warm up, and then I'm gone.
Yeah, but
I love that you have to shower after, by the way.
You know what? Walking out with a stinky booty, and then
Do you not wash? You wipe your ass? What are you doing?
You are all of 6'10" and sounded like a 5-year-old there. You don't walk out with a stinky booty. What are you? What is this?
you use it. Well, this is how you go. You go warm up, and then you cool down, you take a dump, then you shower, and then you get ready. So, you be
No, I get all that, and I agree with you there. It's just the way you said it.
stinky booty.
Yeah, you sound.
You'll
You
know,
sound like
you'll,
you said.
you'll know why this week's episode is called "Walk Out with a Stinky Booty." So
That man he's sitting here thinking like he's sitting talking to two toddlers.
Okay, you don't want to walk out with a funky ass. Is that better?
Okay,
there you
that's a
go.
little better.
Thank you, like a man.
Talk to us like we're grown-ups around here.
Hey, like a man. I'm sorry, Harp. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So yes, Ant has been hurt. So if you're looking at Minnesota, that's not a bad. But can the Lakers get back to 3 if Minnesota stays at 6?
Oh no! I don't think the Lakers
Probably
can get
not.
to 3.
Minnesota, Minnesota got 46 wins. They can win 4 more, and I think the Lakers had the tiebreaker, so the Lakers are fine. They're gonna stay either 4 or 5. So
Yeah, I mean they're guaranteed a playoff spot.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's
I'm
just
not
a matter
saying
of
that-
where you land.
If they can't get Luka back and get AR back, and they're relatively healthy, do I think they can beat the Rockets? Yes. So I do think from that standpoint, if you can get them back and you're facing the Rockets, you do have some form of a favorable matchup, because at that point in time, the Rockets are going to have to see what this young team is made of. Now, we know they were the number 2 seed last year, and they played really, really well. But I want to know how much KD is going to have to do in this series and how much energy he's going to have to expend if you're not going to have other guys step up because of the moment. Are you going to get a consistent Sengun? Is he going to show up one game and then the next game is he going to fall? Like, is he going to be consistent? What level of consistency am I going to get from Jabari Parker? What level of consistency am I going to get from all of those young guys? So KD is really going to tell me how much energy he's going to have to expend in that first round series is going to tell me a lot.
Yeah. I'm still shocked that the Rockets never tried to get a point guard, man. That was just the most ridiculous thing ever, because that's the only thing that team is missing. You're putting a lot of pressure on Thompson and KD to bring the ball up, and even Sengun. So get you a point guard. They didn't get him a point guard, and so.
All right. Well, I mean, we talked a little bit about the standings there. I mean, you're in the final week of the season, so we've looked at the West. Your play-in teams, by the way, in the West right now are the Suns at 7, Clippers at 8 are tied with the Trailblazers at 9, and the Warriors are at 10. And then there's a fall off. So I think that's pretty much going to be your play-in. I don't foresee any of those teams slipping down into the play-in. And in the East, Pistons are all but locked up at the 1, Celtics at the 2, Knicks at 3, Cavs 4, Hawks up to the 5. And then the Raptors are at 6. They're a half a game ahead of the 76ers at 7. And then the Hornets are tied with the Magic 8 and 9. And then the Heat at 10. So anywhere from 5 to 10 could flip all around. But
that's crazy. 6, 7, 8, 9 all got the same record.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those weird. Yeah, like you've got 3 or 4 games left, and that whole thing could flip on its head. Mm-hmm. So the East is a little bit more volatile, if you will. The West looks like it's pretty much set. It's just a matter of where everybody lands. So end of the season, see how it shakes out. We did get the NBA all ineligible team this week, though. Now that Luka's out, he's going to miss the remainder of the season. He comes up short on the 65-game rule. So your all NBA ineligible team would be LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Stephen Curry, and Cade Cunningham. That's your starting 5 on the all ineligible team. So none of those guys eligible for postseason awards. Now you still got like the main players that are in there, though. I mean, I'm Shea, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Jamal Murray, James Harden. All those guys are still in the mix. But do you think it's time to re-examine that 65-game rule to see that group of 5 not be eligible for anything?
I think once the players start making a stink about it, because right now they're not even thinking about it, but I guarantee you, with all these guys now and the way they shoot contracts and everything is made up, if so many games and so many if I make first team, I get this bonus and that bonus.
You can't.
They're going to start making a stink about it. And then, Adam has always been the guy who listens to the players. He's going to probably say, okay, we'll go from 65 to 60. And then, okay, we're going to go from 65 to 55. Okay, we're not going to have it anymore. I see that happening. But
you see it slowly going away?
I see it slowly going away because you can't measure a guy's his greatness by the number of games he played. Unless he only played 5, he's an MVP candidate. But no, I think 65 in an 82 game season. The way these guys like to not get texts and get sit out games. I know what he's trying to do, and I appreciate it. But guys gonna make us think about it. Watch this summer.
Well, I mean, you're already getting a little bit of it with the Bucks and their handling of Giannis. Giannis bitching and moaning already because now this doesn't apply to the 65-game rule, but the NBA is investigating the Bucks for the way they've handled the player participation policy and inconsistent statements regarding Giannis. He was not happy. He said, quote, "You know who you're dealing with. So for somebody to come and tell me not to play or not to compete, it's like a slap in my face. So I don't know where the relationship goes from here. I've never seen a case of a player saying, my caliber of player saying, that's like I'm saying publicly, I want to effing play. You know what I'm saying? So if there needs to be an investigation, great, there should be." That's Giannis, by the way. Saying, go ahead, you want to investigate the Bucks? Knock yourself out. Go ahead, Harp, because I haven't this.
I'm sick of both of them. I really am. Just separate. And I understand that's easier said than done.
I think that's where this is going, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this should have been done because everything that they've been through is continuing to lead to this point. And after a while, it's like two people who consistently stay together who don't need to be together. Just get the hell away from one another.
We all know a couple that way. How are you not broken up and gone your separate ways by now?
Y'all ain't tired?
They're staying together for the kids, Harp. They're staying together for the kids.
In this case, they staying together for the brothers.
Yeah, the brothers, the kids, the little brothers.
You know
we
what?
gotta stay together for the brothers, man.
Once you know what to do with,
we don't need these kids in foster care. I'm just saying.
Nah, once you know what to do with the big fish and Giannis, the other brothers will follow. That's easy. You can deal with them.
Yeah, because they know where the money's going, so they're just gonna go where the money's.
They're going to because they're their brother's moral support, so they're going to want to go wherever he goes. But this has got to end.
Well, it is
all
ending.
of this.
It is ending.
It should have been ended.
No, I know, but here's the thought. This is the easiest thing to this, and as soon as I read this, I go, okay, I get it. They're sitting him because they want him to be as healthy as possible to get the most for him in the summer. That's
you
it.
Keep playing.
They don't want to roll him out there when they're out of playoff contention and have him hurt himself again, and then it hurts his trade value. And Giannis got a knee. We can't know. They want him to be in perfect health, so that when they throw him up on the block this summer, they get the most possible for him. And that's the whole thing.
Yes, but here's the thing. How many more years does he have on his contract?
I think 2. Might be wrong, but I think it's 2.
The longer you continue to hold him, the less the value drops. Because now, you start getting into that second of the last year of the contract. Injuries, he gets older, things of that nature.
He ain't playing there ever again. It doesn't matter. It's a moot point.
That's cool. He should have been gone. Get rid of this. And I'm saying this. It's easy for me to say this in this seat, but my goodness, if y'all have gone back and forth about, I want to be here. We want him here.
He posted the "I'm not leaving" rant on Twitter.
I'm not leaving. Yeah. All this other stuff. Trade him so both of y'all can move on.
They are. At this point,
stop taking all the NBA fan base through this whole rigmarole of what's going on.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't. They're gonna hold him out. The NBA is going to investigate him. They're probably going to fine them for holding him out. But look, it's obvious why they're doing it. So.
Break up, trade him to the Spurs, and move on.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
Oh, did I say that? My fault.
I think that's the part you're not supposed to say out loud.
I don't care. Ain't nobody gonna find me.
Yeah.
Trade him to the Spurs and move on.
Truth. Rob, are you still with us? He's not.
I guess my trade him to the Spurs froze.
Yeah. No,
can you hear me?
There you are.
Yeah.
He's back. He's back, baby.
I'll tell you, man, I called Spectrum. I called everybody. Dude, I'm about to just start doing it from my iPad.
Dude, it's bad when the connection's better in Japan than it is at your house.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Japan don't play.
No, oh no.
Don't
When
play.
it comes to tech, no.
They do not play.
I mean, we might have had like some Pokemon in his feed, but that would have been the most we would have had to deal with. Well, there was. We did get somebody come to Atlanta this week.
Who?
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Angel Reese got traded. Harper's would-be girlfriend Taylor Rooks broke this on Monday that the Sky were moving her. They did a deal with the Dream for they say the Dream received the right to swap second-round picks. They got 2 first-round picks, 27, 28.
Yeah.
For Angel Reese, and then the right to swap second-round picks in 2028.
Yep.
Let
Let me tell you something, boy. The Dream trying to win now because they were good last year.
You got a pretty good lineup too.
They're title contenders this coming up season, and down here where they play in Gateway Arena, which is in College Park. That place wasn't big enough to really hold everybody before the Angel Reese trade. They're going to have more games at State Farm Arena, and they're probably at some point in time going to have to move the Dream into a bigger venue. I don't know if it'd be Georgia State. I don't know if they probably use Georgia Tech more or whatever. Or they try to figure out a way to have more games at State Farm. Because when you make a trade like this, it's going to look like a Hawks game on a consistent basis.
Yeah, you're going to put butts in seats.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is a big...
What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
Go ahead.
I'm not
Go
going to
ahead.
say one word.
No, you
ahead.
gonna say what you want to say.
Say your words.
Are we going to have some lemon pepper night then?
Oh, I mean, it's lemon pepper night
Hell
every
no.
night. That's regular.
Hell no. Not at the WNBA game. They ain't doing that shit.
I mean, lemon pepper here, lemon pepper is to us what avocado and whatever is to y'all out there. all the little vegan stuff out there to y'all. So that's the equivalent. So that's regular.
Avocado Mexico. All right, let's just a couple things I want to mention before we get to a big shot of the week, and then this week's game is going to have to do with the a giant truck full of stolen Kit Kats. Which was
I
in
like
the
Kit
news
Kats.
last week. I know. Yeah. Well, I'll give you the short version. Last week, 12 tons of Kit Kats vanished. Someone stole a truck on its way from Poland to Italy in Europe, containing 12 tons of Kit Kats. And it was national news for like the last 2 weeks. So it's going to lead us into this week's game. I'll explain when we get a little bit closer. But yeah, I don't know where you're going with 12 tons of Kit Kats. Do we want
to the doctor or to the dentist? One or two.
Both. Do we want to mention the Jay Nivey saga at all? I don't necessarily need to get into the minutia of it. I just thought it was a wild story that happened last week.
Yeah.
It's all about the Pride Night stuff. And look, I don't want to get into the politics of it. I really don't. The only thing that kind of sticks with me a little bit on this is, he's speaking out on behalf of his religion. And it's hard to see a player punished, whether you agree or disagree, for speaking out about their religion. Now, was it a little defamatory? Yeah, it drug that line a little bit. Probably not what the NBA promotes in the way of its brand. I mean, it's trying to be all inclusive, so I get that. But it's hard to watch a guy get completely demonized for believing something when it's deeply rooted in his personal beliefs and his religion. Should he have said some of the shit he said? Of course not. Why is he out on the street preaching now? I don't know. His wife's on his Instagram going, please stop. Like, it's gone too far at this point, but it's a wild story. The fact that he got cut for all this.
Yeah, I think it probably was more than we know about the reason that he got cut.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
But
so there's a lot of stuff going on with that situation. It's one of those situations where you don't even want to touch because it's so wild and out there, and there's so much information that's not being said or told.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with him speaking out. Now, there's the two sides to this coin again. I don't have an issue with him speaking out. I don't have an issue with him speaking and professing his faith. Now, you may say certain things that he said or certain ways that he went about it may not necessarily have been to my liking, but that's a personal thing. And it might be different for everybody when it comes to having, strong beliefs about something when it comes to your faith. However, I'm not I'm not opposed to what he did. Now, on the flip side of it, the Bulls they're going to do what they're going to do. You also have to be open to what the organization and what your employer has to say about it as well. And when you step out like that, you also have to understand everything that comes along with it and stand 10 toes down in it, which he's doing, and which I commend him for.
He's doubling down.
Right, which I commend him for. I don't knock him for that. But like I said, working for an organization and whatnot, and they have their conduct and they think certain things are detrimental to you have policies. They have the right to do whatever they feel as though they need to do, especially when you're not, because he had been hurt, he'd been injured. So when the production level is low, the tolerance level is low. If this was somebody else who was a superstar, they wouldn't have let him go. They would have sent him to counseling. They may have fined him. They may have done something else, but they would not have cut him.
No, you get the Kyrie Irving personal days. Yeah.
Right. It's different. So everybody's treated fairly, but everybody's not treated equally type of thing.
Yeah.
So if he's expendable. So it's the two sides to the coin. I respect him and I love it for him, but they also have the right to do what they need to do too. And you got to accept that and you got to live with that.
Yeah. So it was a big story in the NBA. Worth at least bringing up. I want to give you, before we get to the anti-tanking stuff, because I'm really interested to get Rob's opinion on this. The Jokic stat of the week. Seems like every week I do have a stat about somebody. This week it's Jokic. With the way the Nuggets have been playing, this is not a surprise to me, but it's a crazy stat. No player in NBA history has ever led the league in assists per game and rebounds per game. No one. Not even Wilt. Joker's going to accomplish that feat this season, and he's 8th in scoring. Damn. So even when he's not really at the forefront of our MVP conversation.
Well, he should be.
He's right. He's going to pull off something no one's ever done. Led the league in assists and rebounds per game and land right now 8th in the scoring.
At center.
At center.
That's Magic Johnson stuff right there.
And like watching him and Wembanyama go back and forth in that overtime game.
Boy,
dude, that was
who you telling?
Holy cow, dude. That was a great matchup. And that was a great game between two just absolute beasts. And, Nuggets came out on top there, but damn, that's the kind of stuff you hope to see in the postseason.
The Nuggets going to low-key end up winning this NBA championship.
Dude, if they keep playing the way they're playing right now, yeah, that's a valid argument. You know what I mean? They might give OKC their best shot. So I don't know. We'll see how it shakes.
I don't know. I still think you're right. I think they're one of the teams that can give OKC a shot. I still think a healthy Spurs is that way as well.
I agree with you too.
I think a potential, which could be a potential second-round matchup, a Spurs-Nuggets series will feed families for generations. Because if that's any indication of what it could be, what we saw this past weekend, oh my Lord. From those two?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
But the bad part is they're 2-3, so we're going to get that early.
Yeah. Too early, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's that? That's a second-round matchup.
Second-round matchup, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We get in this. Yeah, we get in the second round. Yeah.
But it should be a Western Conference final. That would be
great.
That
to be a Western Conference
final. True, but
that's what happens when you have 3 really good teams in the West.
Yeah, exactly. What is Wembanyama's status right now? Do we know where he's at? I know he's banged up. It was like a rib injury or something the other night.
Yeah,
rib contusion.
He left the game with. Nope.
Oh, man, the Spurs got him again.
They did. Every time the Spurs come up, you cut out.
Yeah, I think my computer doesn't like the Spurs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Every time.
But yeah.
Nah, Spectrum don't like you talking about the Spurs.
That's what it is.
Yeah, Spectrum doesn't like the Spurs.
Yeah. But what were you going to say? You said rib contusion?
I said, yeah, it's just, bruised rib. You can wear a jacket. He'll be all right. They're making sure that you don't get too worse because they probably got some easy games down the stretch that they can win. They show you how they beat the brakes off the Clippers without him, so they're that good. And that's why when you talk about MVP and everybody's talking about Wemby, I'm like, it's not just Wemby on that Spurs team.
Well, no, we've talked about it. It's those guards, man.
So those guards are killing it, So yeah.
All right, I wanted to get your take on this last week. You weren't here.
Why you keep rubbing it in?
Do it. Well, because I had to blame somebody. So, I ain't gonna eat that. The anti-tanking rules they proposed for the NBA. I'm gonna give you the 3 rules they shot out. I don't know if any of these are gonna work. These are the ones Adam Silver proposed. Proposal number 1: lottery expansion to 18 teams. The bottom 10 teams that missed the play-in tournament, 5 in the East, 5 in the West, as well as the 8 qualifying play-in teams, all take part in the draft lottery. The bottom 10 teams have an 8% chance of moving up, the remaining 8, with the remaining 20% of the odds being split amongst the play-in teams. So basically, you're just muddying the water to make it harder for a team to tank and get good odds because there's just a lot of teams in the mix. Proposal number 2 was the 22-team lottery. The 10 bottom teams that missed the play-in, 5 in the East, 5 in the West, and the 8 that qualify for the play-in, as well as 4 playoff teams that lose in the first round. A total of 22 teams would all be included in the NBA draft lottery. And they would rank those 22 teams across 2 seasons of their combined record. So you couldn't just have one bad year. You'd have to have a couple in there to get better odds. Number 3, and we'll get your take on these. Number 3 is the double lottery. The third proposal is basically one where a double lottery, the same 18 teams from the first proposal, the bottom 10 teams and the ones that make the play-in, would be entered in the lottery, where the team with the 5 worst records would then have all the same odds. And then descending from there, there'd be a lottery and a drawing for each of the top 5, like a second lottery for the top 5 to determine who goes 1 through 5. And then another drawing for the other 13 teams. So it's a double lottery. Do any of those raise your eyebrows and maybe that's a way to stop teams from tanking?
You're never going to stop teams from tanking. They're just going to figure out how to do it in a different way. And I think the one thing I do like about it is if you take the record of the past 2 years.
That was the one that stood out to me too. Yeah.
Yeah, because that means you suck for 2 years. Because you think about
you can't just eat one season and go, okay, here we go.
Yeah, because you think about, let's take Milwaukee for instance. They had a decent year last year, and they still got Giannis, and so I think you also have to look in who do you have on that team that's marketable. Who's the most marketable person on the Washington Wizards? But do you want to put the guys coming into the league in that situation? Who gives a fuck? You're getting paid, so you should be happy that you're getting paid. And so, but I think you need to do. I like the part where they do the two seasons, maybe 3. Who knows? But yeah, I like that. I like
that. That's for me. That's probably the better of the deterrents. I don't care about how many teams go in.
I don't care about how many teams go in.
But I think ranking them based on 2 seasons is smart.
Yeah.
Because you can't just eat one bad season and just go, okay, we're going to tank this one. We're going to win 15 games.
Yeah, the Spurs did. Had they got Tim Duncan, you went from being one of the best teams, and then next thing you know, you had the worst record. Now, I know that changes the whole landscape, of the Spurs if Tim doesn't go there. But and then you think about even with me and the Rockets had a good year, and then they, I'm not saying I'm a Tim Duncan type player, but I'm just saying though, the Rockets record was bad. And they went into the lottery, but I still went to a really good team.
Right.
So it makes a big. And so I like the fact that you get these teams that's going to be. You think about the Wizards. Who else sucks?
The Jazz are terrible.
The Jazz. These teams.
The Pacers are horrible.
Yeah, but Pacers.
bad.
But Pacers. Think about it. Let's take the Pacers. Went to the NBA Finals last year.
Right.
Had key trades that didn't work out. Mm-hmm. You don't fall in line. Your best player is going to eventually come back.
Yep.
So you don't be in the lottery like you were, but
you're not going to get the odds you would get if it was just based on just this season.
Yeah, because they're basically in the San Antonio Spurs situation where Dave was out, then he comes back, then you get Tim. Now you go from being the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope when you go both ways with this. But I do want the average of the 2 teams out of everything. All them other things kind of make me go, but take the records from the last 2 seasons. I like that part.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically his move here by proposing all this stuff is just how muddy can we make the water so that it's not as easy to just go and end up with the number 1 pick. So it's a tough proposal for Silver because you got to propose some kind of an answer. But no, I don't think any of these really are the answer. It's just
You know what's crazy part though? We didn't hear anything about this during last year's draft because it wasn't a really good draft. Nobody really cared about who got first pick, second
it's
pick.
true, yeah.
But now you got like 14 players that are really fucking good.
Now everybody
now
cares.
We're gonna hear about it.
Yeah.
But and so next year is gonna be really interesting. I don't know what the crop is coming out next year with each freshman and whatnot, but it's gonna be really interesting to see if there's gonna be a ton of rookies or freshmen or whatever it is coming out next season who are gonna they're just gonna be drooling about. So it's gonna be interesting.
It will be. All right, let's do Big Shot of the Week, and then we'll play our knockoffs game about Kit Kats here. Big Shot of the Week is going to go to Marcus Wather and the Moss Haven Dads Club from North Texas. Here's why. They learned that their beloved school crossing guard, Miss Tricia Crawford, had been without a car for the last 6 months. She's a staple of the community. She knows all the kids. Everybody there loves her. So they got together, proposed the idea, and said, why don't we raise some money, buy this woman a car? She ain't got a car. They pulled together $6,800 in about a few days. Reached out to a friend of theirs who was the GM at Highland Lake Automotive and got her a white Jeep that didn't break the books. He sold it to him at a discount, and then they gifted this lovely crossing guard a brand new car. And they did it without a GoFundMe. They did it without trying to raise money on the internet. This was just the group of dads who do carpools and all this stuff pulled together about $7,000 and called in a favor to make this happen for this woman. So I think that's pretty dope.
That's really cool. Yeah,
that's Big Shot of the Week worthy for me.
Yeah, you love it when people just help people for no reason.
3D Dennis Scott's in the hallway. What's up, D? Dennis Scott's here today.
That's what's up. 3D.
Yeah, 3D. And he walked out. Okay. Tell my mom with Robert Horry will come in here and start arguing with you.
And then my internet will freeze.
And then your internet will freeze, and then 3D will just dunk on you for it. All right, let's get to this week's game, because this story is, and I'm surprised, Rob, that you hadn't heard this story about the Kit Kat truck getting stolen. It was kind of all over the internet the last couple of weeks. It's a pretty wild story. They had to put out a statement, Kit Kat did, last week that said, we can confirm that 12 tons of Kit Kat products were stolen while in transit between our factory in central Italy and their destination in Poland. We're working closely with local authorities and supply chain partners to investigate. We have no update on the stolen Kit Kats as it stands now. But I was like, well, they could probably sell some knockoff Kit Kats, right? Don't they make like a knockoff Kit Kat? And sure enough, a little Google homework found that you can buy Kickers. Kickers are a knockoff Kit Kat from Korea, which apparently are not that great. Very cardboardy and wafery, and not a good Kit Kat. So this week's game is called Knockoffs. I'm going to give you gentlemen a knockoff candy. You just got to tell me, is this a real knockoff candy from somewhere in the world or something that the internet invented?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with dweebs. Dweebs are the UK knockoff version of nerds. Are dweebs a real candy?
I'm gonna go with yes, because I know the word dweebs means for nerds or lacking of some kind of skill set.
Okay.
Dweebs.
A knockoff of nerds in the UK.
I can see it, yeah.
Okay, and both of you get a point. That's a real knockoff of nerds. Do you guys eat nerds? I was never a nerds guy.
Every now and then, but not really.
I do like when I go to Sonic's, they have this drink with the nerds in it. I like that. That's the only time I really eat nerds.
Oh, well, that's just flavor, though. Yeah, that's just a sugar injection.
He's just a big ass kid.
Yeah, you really are.
You really are.
Let me get a large diabetes soda and
they have a bunch of nerds in it.
I was like anything hard candy though. I've always had a problem eating hard candy because it cracks. And I always felt like my teeth were cracking when I was chewing on it. I don't know, just the sensation really.
Yeah, the best is Jolly Rancher, though. That's the best.
You don't really chew a Jolly Rancher, though. You just kind of hang on to that joker for a while.
If you find a way to chew a Jolly Rancher, you are a serial killer.
Oh man!
I'm not fooling with you,
dude. That's
you're a bad boy.
That is you're not far off. That's like people who eat a jawbreaker and go, "I'm gonna bite into this shit." Like, what is wrong with you?
You commit homicide for fun.
Oh, I love that so much. If you chew a Jolly Rancher, you bite into a Jolly Rancher, you're a serial killer. All right. How about J's? J's are a European knockoff of Lay's potato chips. Is there such a potato chip as J's?
I'm gonna go yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go no.
Oh. Point 2. Robert Horry.
Well, dang.
J's have been around longer than Lay's, if you can believe that or not. So Lay's is actually the knockoff. Believe it or not. All right,
That's
how
funny,
about how about Starburps? Starburps, an overseas knockoff of the classic Starburst. Are Starburps
No.
real?
No.
Everybody says no. Everybody gets a point. No, Starburps are not real. How about Reed's peanut butter discs? Reed's peanut butter discs, a German knockoff of the Reese's peanut butter cup.
gonna go
Reed's
yes.
peanut butter discs.
I'm gonna go yes.
I'm gonna go yeah.
No, that's not real. That's not real. We don't get Reed's. It is German? Reed's. I don't know. Reed's isn't really scream German here. How about how about Riz crackers?
Yo.
R-I-Z-Z, Riz crackers. Which is also my nickname in high school. Yeah, he's a Riz cracker. It's a knockoff, of course, of Ritz crackers. Are Riz crackers a real knockoff?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you're both right. They are real. They do sell Riz crackers, and apparently they look exactly the same and taste almost exactly the same as Ritz crackers do, with a much better name. How about Sour Batch Youngsters? An overseas knockoff, of course, of Sour Patch Kids. Sour Batch Youngsters.
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh, point 2. Brandon Harper. No, that's not real. That's not real. No Sour Batch Youngsters overseas. What about Whales? Whales, a knockoff of Goldfish.
I'm gonna say
Instead
yeah.
of Goldfish, you get Whales.
I'm gonna say no. That just seems too obvious.
Okay. Another point to Harper. No, that is a real knockoff. They look like chunky goldfish. Apparently, they taste terrible, according to the internet. All right, couple more here. How about Snackers? A Middle East knockoff of Snickers. Snackers.
I say no.
I say no.
Point for both of you. No, there are no Snackers. All right, 2 to go. How about the Munch Bar? The Munch Bar, pause,
Part of the Crunch Bar?
a gas station knockoff of Crunch Bars. The Munch Bar.
I'm gonna go with a yes.
We in sync. I'm gonna go with a yeah too.
You are in sync, but you're
Well,
both
we're
wrong.
wrong.
You are completely wrong. There's no such thing as a Munch Bar. But we will end it on this one. Cremos. Cremos, a Bangladesh Oreo knockoff. Cremos. A real knockoff or a fake knockoff?
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
I say yes.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's going yes. And everybody gets a point. Yeah, that was a real. Cremos are a real knockoff at Bangladesh. By the way, if you're walking into a place and going, "Where's your Cremos?" That's ugh. I don't know how about that. They smelled like canned frosting, apparently, according to the internet. Tasted like sugar and regret, according to the internet. So there you go. Cremos. We're going to end this week's show. Thanks for that.
Thanks for the shout out, I suppose, Robert Horry.
You're very welcome, Draymond Green.